Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Ask Alicia Anything. For Christmas this year, my husband got me a fantastic green screen to put behind my chair so I could use some really cool backgrounds and stuff like that. However, we realized that it's not wide enough. So I end up with these weird ends on either side. So I'm using the just regular like Zoom background. So if my hands disappear, that's why. Maybe someday I'll figure out how to get the green screen working. But until then, here we are. But this is my office. This is the side that you don't normally see. I decided to take a picture of it so you could see the better side of my office, where my bookshelves are. And I have kind of a really cool quote back there. It's not a quote, it's, what create means. But anyway, it's a definition. But it's part of what makes me happy when I'm in my office. But today for Ask Alicia Anything, I've got 3 great questions that I can't wait to dive into. So let's get started. Okay, so the first one was from Cammie, and she asked, what is the first thing you ever wrote about, including like when I was a child? The first story I ever remember writing was about my dog in the 3rd grade. Now I know I wrote stories before this, but I had a dog. His name was Lassie. Yes, I did say his because I didn't really understand the whole Lassie, laddie sort of thing at the time. But he was a Shetland sheepdog, absolutely adorable. If I can find a picture, I'll pop it in. But anyway, so he and I used to have awesome adventures. And so I wrote a story about one of those adventures. And it happened to be a story about my dad being mad at me, and who knows why. I don't remember that part. But, and then of course, Lassie and I, of course, ran away, and I'm sure my dad probably was sad that we ran away, and that was the end of the story. Who knows? I was in 3rd grade. But anyway, I wish I could find the story because it would be probably a lot of laughs at this point in my life. So if my mom ever runs across it, I hope she gives it to me. So yeah, that's the first thing. When I was younger than that, before I could even write, I would scribble on the back of my dad's triptychs. He was an over-the-road truck driver. So he brought home triptychs, what he was taking and where and all of that. And we used it as scratch paper at my house. And so I would write fantastic stories in big, loopy, not handwriting at all, but to me it was handwriting on the backs of them. I wasted a lot of paper. Sorry, trees. But anyway, so yeah, my dog, Lassie. All right, question number 2. How do you come up with the locations you use in your stories? Are they real or are they imagined? This is from Glinda. So Glinda, thank you for this question. The answer is a mix of both. I have used real places in some of my books. For example, Dublin, Ireland features in Inherent Lies a little bit, and let's see, Ridge was born in a little town called Bishop's Hollow, which is outside of Withsville, and Withsville is a real place. So I do use real places, but most of them are tweaked in a way to make them not exactly the way they are today. Google Maps, however, is my friend, and I love searching Google Maps and coming up with the perfect place for things to happen. The satellite feature ranks pretty high up there on my list of tools I use in research. So But Cascade Hills is not a real place. I'm sure there is a place called that somewhere, but it is not a real place. But it is loosely based on the town I grew up in. So those of you from the town I grew up in, which shall remain nameless, I think most of you know, will kind of recognize some things in the way things are described and things like that. But I did change even like state routes and things like that. I changed just for the sake of fiction, I guess. So both is the answer to that question. Some of them are imagined, some of them are real, but imagined in some way. So fictionalized in some way. Hope that helps. Okay. Third question of the day. Oh, this is a good one. This is from Alicia. And she asks, have you ever gotten character inspiration from students or coworkers? Yes, is the answer to that question. Let's see. In Fractals, the upcoming psychological thriller that comes out in March, the girl, the main character, the young lady in this novel, is loosely, or was inspired by, I should say, was inspired by a student of mine. However, when I knew the student, she was a fifth grader and my character is 17. So there's a big difference there, but she definitely inspired kind of the story and where I took things and how I imagined, some things turning out for her. As far as coworkers, that's tricky. Yes, but not fully. Like, I don't ever fully flesh out a character based on someone I know. The closest I ever came to that was, maybe I shouldn't even mention it. No, I'll mention it. So the closest I ever came to that was an ex-boyfriend who one of the characters in the Blood Secret series, Inherent Truth in particular, was loosely based on, physically anyway. So yes, the people in my life do become fodder for my imagination at times. I think my mother thought that the mother in that Beth Sullivan in the Blood Secret series was her for a long time. I think she's over that now. I tried to convince her that wasn't the case. And so I think she's okay with that now. But we had some moments there. So yes, the real people in my life do inspire me. I have based certain characters on maybe certain elements of their personality or the way they look physically, things like that. But it's never just a copy paste. Because I like to tweak things. Because that's what fiction is, right? We can take something real and make it so much better than what it is, or so much worse than what it is, or more mysterious, or whatever we want it to be. So that is the great thing about fiction, I think. And it's why I write fiction versus nonfiction. Let's see. Do we have any other? I think that's the last question we have for today. But I have a question for you guys. I'm kind of planning out my writing goals for the next, couple years about where I want to go and things I want to write. And I really would love to know what you think about hearing more about the Blood Secrets clan. If you've read all of them, you know that it could end there, or it might not. So I'd love to know if you would like to hear more about some of the characters there. And if so, are there particular characters that you want to know more about? That's what I really want to know. Yeah. Okay, so I am going to create a little form, I think, and I will drop it down below, and you can click there and access the form, kind of like a little poll. And please tell me what you think. Should I write another Blood Secrets book? And if so, who do you want to hear about? Okay, so that's really all I have today. So this is a short and sweet one. So don't forget, if you have more questions for me, please submit them. I love answering them. And maybe by the next time, I will have figured out my green screen and I won't lose my fingers when I wave to you. So that would be great, wouldn't it? All right, so I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.